Imagine your travel plans thrown into chaos, life-saving benefits potentially cut off, and vital government services grinding to a halt. That's the stark reality of a government shutdown, and today the House is expected to vote on a bill aimed at ending this record-long crisis. Let's break down what's happening and what it means for you. The House of Representatives is gearing up for a crucial vote this evening on a Senate-approved bill designed to reopen the federal government. This vote comes after weeks of gridlock and mounting pressure, with significant impacts being felt across the nation. You can follow live updates on CNN's website for the very latest developments. For our Spanish-speaking audience, CNN en Español is providing comprehensive coverage of the government shutdown. Jeffries warning. Cracks in party unity? House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has made a pointed statement, indicating that Senate Democrats who sided with Republicans on a government funding measure will need to explain themselves. This highlights potential divisions within the Democratic Party on how to approach the shutdown crisis. But here's where it gets controversial. Did these Democrats make a pragmatic choice to end the shutdown, or did they compromise core Democratic values? Let us know what you think in the comments below. The House vote, a delicate balancing act. House Speaker Mike Johnson faces a monumental task, selling this Senate-backed bill to his own razor-thin GOP majority. He optimistically told reporters he's very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. But with such a narrow margin, every single vote counts. Speaker Johnson reiterated that House lawmakers will be working on an aggressive calendar for the Republicans' legislative agenda. We're ready to get back to our legislative agenda. We have a very aggressive calendar for the remainder of this year. There'll be some long days and nights here, some long working weeks. But we will get this thing back on track, he said. The shutdown's tangible impact. Flights and food assistance. The consequences of the shutdown are already being felt, and they're not abstract. Nearly 900 flights in the US have been cancelled as of this morning, with hundreds more delayed. With the busy Thanksgiving travel period approaching, the president of the Commercial Airlines Trade Association has called for members of the House of Representatives to vote to reopen the government. Airlines for America President and CEO Chris Sununu said in a statement, "We are preparing for record Thanksgiving travel, with some 31 million passengers expected, and the busy shipping season is coming up." However, airlines cannot flip a switch and resume normal operations immediately after a vote. There will be residual effects for days. Flight cancellations and delays related to the shutdown have already impacted more than 5 million passengers and countless cargo shipments, according to Sununu. It is past time to end the shutdown, he said. The Trump administration is warning of further disruptions, and some SNAP Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program recipients face uncertainty after the Supreme Court decided to maintain the hold on full payments. This is a critical issue for millions of Americans who rely on these benefits to feed their families. And this is the part most people miss. The long-term economic impact of these disruptions can be devastating, especially for vulnerable communities. Grijalva's swearing in, a shrinking majority, and Epstein files. Amidst the chaos, Democrat Adelita Grijalva is expected to be sworn in today in the House, after a weeks-long delay caused by the shutdown. Her arrival will further shrink Speaker Johnson's already precarious majority and clear the path for a highly anticipated vote to compel the release of the Jeffrey Epstein case files. This could potentially shine a light on powerful individuals connected to the disgraced financier. Report-elect Grijalva plans to personally confront Speaker Johnson over delayed swearing in. Air traffic controller shortages, a safety concern? Perhaps one of the most concerning impacts of the shutdown is the strain on air traffic controllers. A report is staffing issues until 2 p.m. Eastern Time at the Tracon facility that handles flights arriving or departing the Phoenix area was added to the most recent Federal Aviation Administration operations plan. Some flights headed to Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport will see delays of up to an hour, the FAA said. The TRACON, which handles flights approaching or departing Newark Liberty International Airport, was short-staffed earlier this morning. On Tuesday, only 5 reports of air traffic control staffing problems were noted in FAA operations plans, dramatically down from the 40 seen on Monday and 63 on Saturday. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said Tuesday that "I think our air traffic controllers are seeing an end to the shutdown and feel more hopeful, and they're coming into their facilities." There have been 643 reports of short staffing since the start of the shutdown, more than 6 times as many as were reported on the same dates last year. Controllers are considered essential employees and must report to work but will not be paid until after the government reopens. While the return to normal air traffic following the expected end to the federal government shutdown this week will not be instantaneous, it will be quicker than you might think. Kit Darby, a retired United Airlines captain, told CNN's Sarah Signer on CNN News Central, "In a normal situation, when aircraft are cancelled or delayed, it happens on a random basis. This time, it's happened on a plan to cut back a varying percentage," Darby explained. "We know where those planes, those pilots, those flight attendants are, which is not the case in something like a weather event. It's going to be pretty fast getting them back in place. I don't believe it'll take more than a few days to get most of it back. And if we can solve the problem this week, I believe we'll be 100% by Thanksgiving," he predicted. A record number of air traffic controllers took unscheduled time off, causing a cascading effect of hours-long delays for travellers. At the same time, the FAA slashed flights at 40 US airports, so controllers who do show up could safely handle the traffic. About 5,000 workers are maintaining FAA equipment, along with 14,000 air traffic controllers, who are all working without a paycheck. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy called the loss of pay for essential FAA employees a crisis within aviation on Tuesday. Duffy has said some controllers may be calling out in protest, while others could be working other jobs to support their family. Some simply get sick or become exhausted from the stress of not knowing when they will get paid. The potential consequences of this shortage are serious, raising questions about the safety and efficiency of air travel. Are we putting undue pressure on these essential workers? Political wrangling and potential defections. GOP leaders are confident the government funding bill will pass the House tonight, despite their razor-thin majority and the potential of at least one defection, according to Republican sources. Republicans in Congress could only afford to lose 2 GOP votes along straight party lines, and Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie is widely expected to vote against the funding bill. Representative Jared Golden of Maine, the lone Democrat who voted for the GOP stopgap bill in September, is a potential defector and could join Republicans on this vote, despite the effort by Democratic leaders to whip their members against it. There could be other potential Democratic defectors, the sources said. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Democrats vowed last night to continue fighting rising healthcare costs and said they would seek to amend the bill reopening the federal government to also address expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies. Meanwhile, Representative Jim McGovern, the top Democrat on the powerful House Rules Committee, criticized the GOP for leaving town. "I'm glad that you survived your 2-month paid vacation while Democrats stayed in Washington to try to end the shutdown," he said. McGovern ripped into House Republicans for leaving town during the government shutdown. What happens next? The House of Representatives will return to the chamber today, after nearly 2 months, to begin voting on the Senate-passed bill to reopen the federal government. The vote will take place as early as this evening. Once passed in the House, the bill will go to President Donald Trump's desk for his signature. But things may not be so clear-cut. Speaker Mike Johnson faces an extremely narrow majority and can only afford to lose 2 GOP votes. And he'll likely need the president's help to push it through. And Democrats, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, have vowed to fight the package because it does not go as far as many wanted on healthcare demands. The timeline: procedural vote, expected around 5 p.m. ET. Final passage vote, expected around 7 p.m. ET to 8 p.m. ET, but subject to change. Grijalva swearing in around 4 p.m. ET. Flight cancellations continue. About 880 flights within the US have been cancelled as of 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The country's top airlines preemptively cancelled hundreds of flights in response to the Federal Aviation Administration's emergency order for flight operations to be cut by 6% at 40 major airports. For example, Southwest Airlines cancelled roughly 145 flights set for today, and Delta Airlines expects to run the majority of its schedule today. A Delta spokesperson told CNN, adding that all planned FAA-directed cancellations are complete through Thursday. Until a deal to end the federal government shutdown is officially inked, airlines must continue to follow the FAA's order to incrementally reduce flight capacity by 10% by Friday. Airlines must cancel flights 7 days before they are scheduled to fly, according to the FAA order. Once flights are cancelled and passengers are informed, they cannot be easily reinstated. The FAA ordered the flight reductions in response to staffing shortages driven by the shutdown, during which air traffic controllers are required to work without pay. Representative Grijalva plans to personally confront Speaker Johnson over delayed swearing in. House Speaker Mike Johnson will swear in Arizona Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva around 4 p.m. Eastern Time. According to an advisory from the Speaker's office, her seating will take place 7 weeks after she was elected to fill the Arizona seat left vacant by her late father, and follows repeated demands from Democrats for the Speaker to swear her in. The Arizona Attorney General last month filed a lawsuit seeking to compel Johnson to seat her. Johnson has defended his decision to delay Grijalva's swearing in by arguing that she won her race on September 23, when the House was already out of session amid the shutdown. He vowed to do so as soon as the House returned to Washington. Grijalva has said one of her first moves in office will be to provide the pivotal signature on a petition to force a floor vote on legislation, compelling the federal government to release the Jeffrey Epstein case files. The big question: will the House vote to end the shutdown tonight? What lasting impact will this crisis have on our government and the lives of everyday Americans? And most importantly, what can be done to prevent future shutdowns from holding our nation hostage? Share your thoughts in the comments below.